Clearly
Off
topic.
Two friends,
One unique conversation.
driven to learn, inspire, create, and understand.
All right, okay, listen. We're just trying to be good humans and make the world a better place.
How hard could it be?
Hi guys, welcome back to Clearly Off Topic. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Juliet, and I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, number one sponsor, Red Bear Roastery.
Red Bear Roastery. Yeah, guys, visit redbearroastery.com. Use our code OFFTOPIC for 10% off. Red Bear Roastery is a local Los Angeles coffee roaster. Roasts right out of his home. It is small batch and roasted to your order, so nothing is sitting on a shelf waiting for you to buy it. It's all done right to your order. So, yeah, head over to redbearroastery.com. If you are in the LA or OC area, he does deliver, so check out his delivery map and get your coffee on, team.
All right, well, you know what we should also get on is your trip. You just got back from the East Coast.
Again. Charleston. Yeah. My little sister goes to school in the worst town in South Carolina.
We might have listeners from South Carolina.
No,
It's
no,
fine.
they're definitely not from Clinton. Okay. Clinton.
Clinton's own Clinton.
I hope not. They've let it deteriorate quite a bit if they do. But no, Clinton is a teeny tiny town. I think there's like 3,000 people or something crazy like that. And my little sister's college is in that town. So I mean, how many of the people are college students? Nobody really knows. But it's bad. So we left Clinton after my sister's softball games and went down to Charleston. And it was great. We left Dad and Grandpa at home, so it was just the girls.
Girls
and
trip.
It was really fun.
Nice.
It was really fun. Yeah, we went shopping. We went on a carriage ride. Unfortunately, our horse's name was Trump, which was very upsetting.
Serious?
Yeah, they're like, well, he's the biggest, whitest horse on our property. And I was like, ooh.
And you're in the South. I mean, it's to be expected.
Oh, they loved it. Everybody on the carriage ride was like,
Did he have a MAGA hat on? Does his horse just walk around?
Oh my God, no, but his hair was bad. His hair was bad. So, funny thing that actually happened on this trip,
yes.
Juliet, is Leah. Sorry, Leah.
Leah's the middle child. It's okay.
Leah's the middle. We like to pick on her. So Leah, actually, we woke up one morning in Charleston. It was like 4 a.m. and she like nudges me awake and she's like, "Do you have a tampon?" And I was like, "No. Why? No. I'm not on my period. I don't have a tampon." She's like, "Shit. I just started my period," and just like went back to sleep. And in the morning, she had like bled through her pants and onto like the sheets and everything. And she was like, "Well, great. This is the life of being a woman, right?" Yeah. And it's kind of crazy to me because our guest today is from a company called PMSBOX, and I think that so many women can relate to Leah's story, right? Like, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, how did I not know this was coming? What is going on? Like, where's my pad? Where's my menstrual cup? Where's my tampon? Whatever you use.
But it's easily fixable, like for us.
For us.
For everyone that I know, you wake up in Charleston, you have your period, you're like, crap, and then you go downstairs and you buy a tampon.
Yep.
But it's not like that in all parts of the country.
It's not like that everywhere. And I only know this fact because I stole it from PMSBOX. But according to the UN, menstrual hygiene is a global and public human rights issue. 1.2 billion menstruators still struggle to fulfill basic needs, which is crazy to me because I can go buy a Diva cup if I want to from Target.
I have 3 different kinds of menstrual cups.
We can do a whole episode
We're going to do a whole episode on menstrual cups because I love them. Lindsay hates them.
I hate them.
It's a whole thing.
I'm a tampon girl.
Lindsay's got to stop this. But as Lindsay mentioned, the founder and CEO of PMSBOX is here. Welcome to the show, Sera Alper.
Yay!
Hi,
Welcome.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As you can tell from our voices, we're very excited to have you. Because we have 1,000 questions.
So many questions.
And I love subscription boxes because I love, gifts.
Yeah, basically. It's gifts in the mail all the time, constantly. And it comes right out of your bank account. You don't even have to think about it, right?
But I think also you take the work out of what you need to think about, right? So you have a very specific item. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about your box?
Sure. So PMSBOX, it's a subscription box. It's a customizable subscription box. It comes with 5 full-size products. It's there to improve your menstrual experience. So I had a lot of problems during my period. I was using non-organic menstrual supplies and I was sick for a year. We didn't know what was happening. And I had allergies with non-organic menstrual supplies. So that's when I went on a search. I know you asked about the box, but I was like, let me give you how it all started.
Yes, start from the get-go.
So to summarize it, it's just I realized that they don't really have organic menstrual supplies in the big supermarkets that we visit every day. So I had to go to 5 stores, like the big name brands, and I wasn't able to, find organic menstrual supplies. And I realized that this is a necessity and, we don't have easy access to it. So long story short, I started PMSBOX. It's a menstrual subscription box that takes a holistic approach to PMS. So everything in the box is organic, vegan, or we collaborate with companies that are also giving back. They are environment friendly products, our packaging as well. So PMSBOX comes with 5 full-size products, menstrual supply of your choice, nutrition, therapeutic, beauty, as well as token. That makes 5, right?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
miss out
I think
any
so. I
other
think so.
category. Yeah. So that's PMSBOX
yeah.
in a nutshell.
That's awesome.
So what are some of, my immediate thought was how many women out there are allergic to their period products? You went on this journey, but it took you a year to find out. So, and you could tell us some of your symptoms if you like, or just how did that aha moment happen when you're like, oh, it's what I'm putting in my body during my period?
It's what you put in your body, what you eat, consume. If you like to have a lot of lattes with a lot of sugar, you're prone to get like yeast infection. So I'm not a doctor, and I don't have a medical degree, so I can't give any medical advice right now. But I just learned to listen to my body, and I realized that as I'm aging, I'm more sensitive. Back in the day in high school, I would use any pad that I found. I didn't even know that organic menstrual supplies exist.
Yeah.
And I lived in the Middle East for 15 years. That's where I saw period poverty. I was not, period poverty means when you don't have access to menstrual supplies. So I didn't have that problem, but I lived in areas that people had that problem. When they would get their periods, they would miss out on school. They would use toilet paper, or they would actually bleed through what they're wearing, and in class they would get embarrassed. They would sit in the back. It was pretty unfortunate. So growing up in that environment, hearing those stories also encouraged me to start PMSBOX, a company that focuses on giving back. So our philosophy is 1 for 1 with every PMSBOX that we sell. Our goal is to end period poverty. So we are donating menstrual supplies to one in need. And I don't say woman in need because this whole new topic is focusing on menstruators in general. So when we say menstruators, not only women menstruate. Some people do not identify with the word
term woman.
Woman, yeah. So that's also another topic we're really focused and passionate about as PMSBOX.
I love that. When I was reading through the website and looking through everything, I was noticing that you were using the word menstruators, and it's funny because I actually mentioned to Juliet before you got here that that's so cool because we have a friend who's transitioned from man to woman, and I'm sure the other way around, it would that's still something that you deal with. You still have those internal organs that are still going to release
do what they're going to
once
do
in a while.
Yeah. So going back to your time in the Middle East, you were in Turkey, correct?
Yes.
So the women there, they don't have access because the things are prohibitively expensive, or is it because they don't have them, or is it because the things they have are not great to use? I guess, what is really the biggest hump to get over in areas like that?
Okay, so Turkey is one of the countries that has the biggest Syrian refugee population right now. And I don't know the exact number right now, but it's several millions.
Yeah.
And, buying menstrual supplies, you have to have, money to actually purchase them. And if you are living on the streets and if you have no access to, menstrual supplies, by the way, this does not happen only in Turkey or only in, countries abroad. It happens in our back,
homeless women in
neighborhood.
Los Angeles.
Exactly.
Big problem, yeah.
And there are organizations that are doing amazing work when it comes to ending period poverty here. So you've mentioned, our website not having women menstruating, and we just use the terminology menstruation, menstruators. So that happened after we went to New York for period conference. So there's something that's
period
called period
conference.
conference.
That's fun.
Is that how long has that been going on?
I think this was the second year that the conference happened in New York, and it's amazing. This 16-year-old girl started this organization called Period Movement. It's a nonprofit, and their goal is to end period poverty. We went there. We loved the vision, and during that conference, we had some guests over that were talking about menstruation and how everybody keeps saying woman and feminine, females that bleed, and that's offensive to some. So after that conference, we went back to our hotel room, and the first thing we did on the website is we changed the whole terminology.
Yeah, of
it was
course.
something that I wasn't aware of as well, so it opened my eyes, and so we made that change
I
right
love
away.
that. I love that you were willing to adapt, because there's so many people
And
who
so
aren't
quickly.
willing.
Yeah. You saw it speaks to who you are and who your company is when
Absolutely.
you see a need, you fill it. Oh, some group is not being represented, we're going to represent them. You're standing up for everyone.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
guys. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, something that happens to you naturally, like having your period, should not be
Embarrassing.
It should not be embarrassing. It should not be a barrier to education, because I remember you mentioned, and I've heard before in other countries, and this one as well, for children who don't have access, you can't go to school because you're embarrassed, or you physically feel terrible, and it's not just the bleeding part.
Yeah.
There's all this other stuff that goes on with your period too, the emotionalness, how you feel.
Well, and then there's some people who have things like endometriosis and
yes.
like PCOS, and so their
course.
periods are like, I mean,
Extra
I feel
bad.
like my period's bad, but it's not. It's fine. You know what I mean? So there are people out there who are struggling. My sister gets horrible cramps. I get a cramp or two. I'm just lucky. But yeah, I mean, I just feel so bad for some people out there, and I can't imagine not having access to a pad or a tampon, let alone like Advil to make your cramps go away.
Because it's not.
Or, you know what I mean?
It's not like a woman's problem. It's a basic needs issue.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just like toilet paper, it should be accessible to anyone.
Absolutely.
And also, I feel like one other problem that we face is when we get PMS cramps, some of us just jump to get Advil or Tylenol. My approach is to solve this issue of pain in a holistic way. And I have friends that, have endometriosis, and I wanted to create a box that will, make sure to improve everyone's menstrual experience. And our approach to this is taking more of a holistic view. And this box itself has essential oils. There are some CBD products in the works that we're testing, CBD patches, some essential salves that are, cream-based. And again, everybody's pain tolerance is very different. However, we've tested our products in boxes over several women, and so far it has improved their experience. So I'm happy to say this. On my team as well, all the women on my team has tried all the products we have. We're not putting anything in the box that we haven't used ourselves, and yeah, it's life-changing.
Yeah, that is awesome. I will say that one of our good friends, Alyssa, actually does the whole essential oils thing, and she all the time.
She has to call in sick to work on her period.
Yeah, hers are really bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, anything organic that she can get her hands on, she's trying
also
to.
vegan.
Yep, she's vegan. She's that obsessive label reader, is what I call her.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, no, that's great. I mean, the organic tampon thing, I actually just switched over to. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because it's crazy what they put in those little cotton things that you stick up yourself every month, like multiple times a day.
Yeah, I don't know why they allow that to happen.
There's bleach in them.
It's toxic.
What? When I found that out, I was like,
You're poisoning yourself.
Me.
Yeah, that's how I switched over to menstrual cups, which we'll talk about in a different episode. But
Yeah.
was because toxic shock syndrome.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't die from a tampon. I just can't do that. That can't be what happens to me.
Yeah, I just like aggressively take it out every 4 hours, whether I need to or not. But yeah, it's crazy. And so like access in countries in general, it's just hard for some women to get these products, let alone products that aren't going to like put all these crazy chemicals into you as well. So do you guys, it's all organic tampons. So when you guys do the giving back, is it organic products as well?
Yes, that's what we focus on.
That's
One
awesome.
thing that we want to actually focus on is during the giving back portion, we just don't give back the supplies. We actually do period hygiene workshops so they can know how to use the pads. Currently, we're only donating pads, and the reason behind that is culturally, some believe that tampons de-virginize.
Oh, I didn't
And I'm a
even think
part of
about
that culture too. I actually never used tampons when I was in Turkey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because, when you're a virgin, if you use tampons, it de-virginizes you. So you cannot, use it, especially in cultures that are Islamic cultures, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that makes sense.
That makes sense,
That
yeah.
thinking could make sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense to me. That's crazy.
So then they use pads.
But that way you're
cups
not
would be out
interfering.
too, because anything that going up into yourself would be considered de-virginizing.
Exactly. However, pads are also adding to the waste
Waste,
itself. So our, new goal is to provide pads that are reusable.
Cotton, the ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then again, they would have to have access to water in order
Clean
to
water.
rewash it, clean water so they don't get any infection. So all of this comes with its pros and cons, but we know one thing for a fact, they don't have access to pads, and we want to make sure that they have access to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We started giving back in Philippines in February, and the next place that we visited was Uganda in Africa, and then this month we're giving back to Grenada.
Ah,
Ooh.
very cool.
Yeah,
Very
thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, and you're semi new company.
Yeah, we started in November of
Oh my gosh,
2018.
so recently.
Yeah, you're
That's awesome. And
Under a
you're-
year old, and you're already in 4 countries.
Yeah, well, giving back in 3 and then
3.
operating in the U.S.,
Yeah, I was
which
saying,
is
like, you
incredible.
already have boots on the ground in 3 external countries.
That's crazy. That's such
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah.
That's such a huge deal.
Thank you.
It really is. Like, I own businesses, and that's massive. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Lindsay is the business one.
Yes.
So I love that you have illustrations. It doesn't have to be a literacy issue. It's not someone sitting there and I have a class and I'm going to show you how to use it. It's like, just here's the product. You can read it at your leisure. If you're embarrassed, because I know a lot of times it's embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's an embarrassing thing. And especially in cultures where, being a woman maybe isn't celebrated as much, or it's you have to be very editing this too. You just have to be very cautious of how you're handling your body, right, in certain cultures. So as far as vaginal health goes, 'cause I was going to say women's health, but now I'm going to say vaginal health because not a woman.
Yeah. Or
Like we talked about before.
menstruation health.
Menstruation health.
Menstruation health?
But just women, like vaginal health in general, what's normal, what's not, all this is still kind of
very
a taboo,
taboo.
even now in this country. So I can't imagine the obstacles that people are facing in other countries that don't talk about it as freely.
Exactly. Some women in India, they can't sleep in the same house as their family when they get their periods. There's a lot of documentaries that you see that
I've
as
definitely
well.
seen.
They sleep outside the house. It's about bringing shame upon the family when you're menstruating. My experience was when I first got my period, I would have to hide my pads when I was purchasing it at stores, or when I would go to, the school restroom, I would hide it as well. And now with pride, anytime I get my period, I literally wave my pad. It's something to not be ashamed of.
Yeah.
It's something to be celebrated. So we want to change the mindset. It's not about just pushing PMSBOX forward to end period poverty. We want to change the whole concept. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We want to open the conversation and educate, everyone around us about it.
That was one of the things I wanted to reiterate about this box, is that when you look at the website and you see the products and you see your mission statement, and then when you meet Sera in person, you feel that camaraderie of humanity, that it's okay to be human. Like, menstruation is normal, it is okay, and we're here for you. It happens to us, it happens to you and me, it happens to all these people.
It's very natural.
Very natural and normal. It's not something to be
Exactly.
ashamed of, because even in this country, I felt ashamed when I got my period, and
Oh,
everyone
me
was telling
too.
me it was okay, but it's so intimate.
See, and I came from a really conservative family that,
Yeah.
like, it was not discussed. Like, the only reason I learned about my period was from those stupid videos we watched in, like, 7th grade that tell you, like, hey, you're going to start to get boobs. You're also going to have this blood coming out of you. Sorry, too much information, guys, but whatever.
No, this is
It's
what
okay.
happens.
Exactly.
But
Blood.
But
blood
that's
everywhere.
what they, that was my only resource, really. So, like, the first time I used a tampon, it was because the only thing that my friend had was a tampon, and I had my period. And literally, my girlfriend had to come into the stall with me and, like, show me how to use a tampon because I just didn't know. And I didn't have, not a mom, like, I had a mom, she's the best, but she wasn't comfortable enough with herself and with her own menstruation to discuss it with me and my sisters. So then it was more up to me to handle it with my 2 little sisters as well. And I mean, that was in New Jersey. That wasn't in some foreign country. And yeah, I used to be embarrassed as all heck when I was in middle school and high school, and I'd have my period and I'd be like, oh my gosh, did I leak through my pants? Did I, did I just start my period? It's like that panic moment. And I can't imagine being somewhere that was conservative like my family was as a whole country, right? Where you really do have to be worried about walking around with those products, or nervous or sad, or like you'd want to sleep in your own bed that night. That's really important to me. I like my own bed.
I was just remembering when I started my period, I was in gymnastics. I didn't get my period till like 17.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Because I was
late.
I was a competitive gymnast, so I just didn't like mature.
So you have to have 10% body fat to begin
start
menstruation.
Yeah. So that could be why it didn't happen.
Yeah, your body muscle content was off.
Was all off.
That's how mine was too. But.
Mine started at I think it was like level 6 state meet. And I did not know what happened because my parents and I did not have that conversation of like, you're getting older, because I just wasn't. I was just like in gymnastics. And my coach, who's a guy, was like, you have to go to the bathroom because things are happening. And I was like, what? Like, I had zero idea what was happening. And a stranger fellow gymnast was like, oh, I saw you out there, like, here's a tampon. I was like, what do I do with this? And she's like, you just stick it up there. I was like, I just where? What are you talking about? And it was so stressful because I still had 2 events to go. I was halfway through like a state competition. And I just remember like rolling up toilet paper and putting it in the bottom of my leotard. And I was just like, hoped for the best. But your first time, there's not usually that much
pressure.
I just didn't bleed that much. I like bled through and that was it. It was like a one-time thing. But I just remember being like, this is obnoxious. I wasn't even like, oh, I'm a woman. My experience was like, great. Now I have to deal with this.
Yeah, that was me too. I was like, I don't have time for this. What is going on?
Yeah.
I got my period once when I was like 16. I split the beam. I didn't want to tell my mom.
Well, you probably broke your hind then.
Yeah. So split the beam. Didn't want to tell my mom. Nothing ever came back or ever happened again. So I still don't know if that was my period or something like that. But yeah, that was my and then I was like almost 17. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was weird.
All right, now you gotta tell us yours.
I got my period when I was at Universal Studios. I didn't really have a conversation with my, mom, my father, like parents. They just handed me a book about my body. I forgot the title, but it had all the information about, sexual health and, all that good stuff. So I didn't really read through it, to be honest with you. And when it was happening, we were in the restroom. I was in the restroom and, I was just pissed off at the world, just like you guys. And I was yelling at my mom and I was not happy about it at all. But then later on, we celebrated. When I got out of the restroom that whole night, my mom's friends, like we all, sat down, took family photos. They were like, you're part of us now. So I felt like I was the cool kid,
That's beautiful.
It was so lovely afterwards. But in the beginning, I was just so disappointed. Just like you said, like I wasn't ready for it,
I was like, this is dumb. I don't
that's
like this.
beautiful.
Exactly.
But that's so pretty, Juliet. If we have daughters, write that down.
I was just gonna say, I was like, Lindsay, we're throwing a period party. Don't they do that in Indian culture?
Yes, I believe in some cultures. I'm not 100% sure about Indian culture, but in some cultures it's celebrated. Yeah, for sure.
It
should be.
One of my gymnastics friends, but she got it really early. She was like 13, so none of us knew what was going on. But she missed gymnastics practice for a week. She was gone, and she didn't tell us why. Then she just showed back up and didn't tell us why. And then we got invited to this party. We couldn't figure out why because they just
it wasn't her birthday.
It wasn't her birthday. It wasn't like a special holiday, but it was all about her, and it was very ceremonial, and we loved it. But we were just like, what actually is going on?
You're like, I want a party,
and I want a party, and I feel like that is the right way to do it.
It is
because it's art. It's like, okay, this is what's happening to you, and this is good. Like your body can create life, and this is how you create life. And if you are able to create life, you should be celebrated.
Well, like, women are superheroes, man. Like, we can take something from like a couple of cells and make it into a human, not that's totally self-sustaining from the beginning, but like, we can make life. And if that natural cycle is what allows us to do that, and it should be celebrated. Because even today, still, when I get my period, I'm like, really, are we doing this today? Like, today? And I mean, and I have access to everything I need, and I mean, you know, it's not hard to go through a period, but we're so annoyed by it, and I'm glad that you're trying to like change the agenda on that.
It should be so every month should be a celebration is what I think, not just the first time.
I mean, when you're younger and you're having sex, it kind of is a celebration. You're like, I got my period. You know what I mean? When you're like a young kid, but not young kid. Anyway. But yeah, when you're younger, it is kind of a celebration. You're like, didn't get pregnant this month, and then so it kind of goes through these weird cycles. Your period, right? Just like you do as a woman.
Yeah, your period does define you, because like you were saying, I just love that you said, you know, you get it and you're worried and you're scared, and then it's how do I figure it out? Then it's thank God I got my period, I'm not pregnant. And then later on, when you want to have kids, you get your period and you're like, darn it, I don't want to be getting my period because I want to be pregnant. And then you go through a whole other thing when you are not able to have children anymore.
Yeah, and menopause.
And how menstruation is such a defining factor every month that we go through, but every month is completely different.
I like that. Wow, Juliet.
Look at me.
Look at you and your aha moment.
We love aha moments here, and a lot of times I get really woo-woo, and this one actually landed.
Yeah, that one landed. Sometimes it's like about walking into the sea and seeing where the
that
tides
was a
will hit
good
your
one.
feet.
That was a good one. How did you come up with your slogan? You are amazing. I mean, you have a lot of good ones. Like, you are amazing, period, is great, and then let's end period poverty together. But
Sure. So your amazing period, I think it happened during a team meeting. I don't think it was my idea or one person's idea. I think it was more of like a collaborative effort of trying to come up with a tagline and, you know, going through a list of all the sentences that we had. And I wanted the word period in the tagline, you know, and it somehow happened. So
I love it.
Yeah. It doesn't have like a special story to it. It just naturally happened. And after that, we loved it and we kept it.
And I love it because it's still spreading that positive message of like, hey, you're amazing. Don't worry about it. This is just your period.
Yeah. And I love taking back the word period, taking back the word menstruation, taking back all those words, and just, these are not bad words.
Exactly. And this year we were the community partners of the Women's March. During the Women's March, we gave our stickers, PMSBOX, You're Amazing, period, to thousands of women. And the way we would hand the stickers, we just said, You're Amazing, period. We would just tell them our slogan. And the fact that you're just saying You're Amazing, period, to someone, they just feel amazing about it, you know, that they're hearing it out loud. And then we would just hand the stickers. And yeah, it's a very catchy tagline. So it's on our t-shirts, it's on our, you know, wine glasses.
It's on your
the box
boxes.
itself. Yes.
It's not gender specific, which is
I
also
do.
great.
I do actually
Of course,
like that.
you don't have to be a woman to
Be amazing.
Be amazing. You can be whoever you like to be and still be amazing.
Yeah.
There are amazing women on our team as well as male friends that we have. Yeah, so the way it all started is I was going to Santa Monica for this tech startup weekend, and I bumped into one of my friends, and she happened to be there. We were supposed to come up with an idea for that 52-hour weekend challenge. So you're supposed to present a problem and then a solution to that problem, gather a team of strangers and really solve the problem, and then pitch to investors. So that was the challenge. And I was intimidated by it because I just didn't want to talk in a room full of strangers. And, you know, I thought of all the problems that can potentially happen, you know, world hunger and, you know, air pollution and just global warming. I couldn't really come up with a solution to solve any of the problems that we currently have in the world. So I had a couple of ideas that were related to social media management, because I do have a second company called Local Light Production. So I wanted to do an app related to influencer marketing and content creation. So I was presenting some of these ideas to Damla, who is our COO right now at the moment. And out of all my ideas, she loved PMSBOX. I told her, hey, I want to, you know, put a box together, a self-care box, and it's going to be 1-for-1. Tom's was my inspiration behind it. And they also, you know, have the 1-for-1 concept. And yeah, so I presented that idea to her, and she encouraged me to go out there and present it in front of the crowd. And yeah, I just somehow was like, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to, because I would hate myself to go back home and not present it there. And I went with it, and my idea got one of the most votes that weekend. There was like 2 number 1 ideas, but we worked on 5 ideas, so we all built teams, and then I had to do another pitch. Long story short, it was the most amazing 52 hours. I worked on PMSBOX, and we went out there, we did a lot of surveys, and then we came up with the concept of the box. The most interesting part was our mentors told us that if we can finish the full cycle of giving back internationally during these 52 hours, we would be able to prove our concept. So I called my sister in Turkey. She was in bed, and I was like, you got to do this for me. My birthday's coming up. You owe me one. And then I also called one of my social media clients in India. He was traveling. He lives in the States. And I was like, Neve, you got to help me out. So he donated, my sister donated menstrual supplies, and she went to a village to show, the box and all the good stuff. Not the box that you're currently seeing, but she went there with a handwritten note. So she created her own, demo box. And we were able to donate menstrual supplies to a woman in need in a village that has never seen tampons in her life before. She's married for several years. So we took photos of that, captured that story. So we completed our, cycle. And after that, after the competition was over, following morning, we met up with Damla again, and then it started growing. We had several members joining our team. Several of them, some of them moved abroad. So some of them left, some of them came back. We have new media consultants on our team right now. So it's growing rapidly. We have new influencers and brand ambassadors that are in charge of giving back missions internationally. So if you want to volunteer for PMSBOX,
Just gonna ask that.
our door is always open, and it doesn't matter if you know a lot about media. If there's a field that you really want to get into, let's say you really want to do content creation, or you always wanted to work in PR but you didn't know how to get started, one thing that differentiates us compared to any other company is we give opportunities to anyone, because I wasn't given a lot of opportunities at a time of need. So I realized how important it is to inspire everyone and give them opportunities and learn from one another. So yes, I'm very thankful for everybody that has helped PMSBOX come to the point that it is right now. And we're always, like I said, open to volunteers, whoever has a great idea. If they're doctors abroad and they want to do a medical mission, we're happy to supply them with menstrual supplies. Yeah.
Awesome. And how was your previous experience in life? What were you doing before PMSBOX, and how are you bringing that into the...
I've never done a subscription box before. This is my first subscription box.
So you're doing a wonderful job.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. So I had to research, the whole packaging. Where do you buy the supplies from? My business has always been advertisement. I worked at, big media companies. I worked on KFC, IKEA, L'Oreal, Lancome, Sony, Red Bull, Michelin, Nespresso, Colgate, any brand that you can think of, that you wear, that you use, that you see around you, global, local. I've worked on them for over a decade. I've been a social media manager / director for years. And I had a blog called Localite, where I was doing interviews with creatives, because that was something that I was very passionate about, storytelling. So I wanted to share everybody's story. And while I was doing all that good stuff, I realized that advertisement was somewhat empty. I wasn't really changing the world, or I wasn't really saving lives, and it was too late to become a doctor. But if anybody wants to become a doctor after the age of 30, that's completely fine. But for me, I just, was in search for something that was giving back to humanity. And this has been my present to humanity, along with my medical interviews that I've done in the past. I worked with a medical corporation back in the day, and we have a lot of medical, connections. So long story short, what I brought to PMSBOX was advertisement. Any product that I put in the box, I am able to provide advertisement services through influencers to photography, videography, all the ideas that I have to all the brands that I'm collaborating with, along with the medical influencers that I've helped them become influencers, or I've sponsored their medical missions, are giving back to me by sponsoring PMSBOX on their feeds or bringing our menstrual supplies abroad. So it all plays in the big picture. Everything makes sense. I've also worked at a corporation that was fully e-commerce based, and then there was one that was doing a lot of international shipments. So all of the places that I worked throughout my life all made sense now. It wasn't making sense in the moment. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Is this ever going to make sense? But it all actually ties in. And for anyone that wants to start their business, what I would advise them is to go for it. And you don't have to have money for it. So I don't come from a wealthy family. I come from a family that, believes in dreams, and they support you, whatever you want to do in life. And if I have to have 2 or 3 jobs just to support my vision, I will go ahead and do that. I haven't started a Kickstarter. I have, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I didn't want to be responsible for someone else's money. I wanted to learn how to build a business on my own without owing anyone.
My gosh,
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that ending of just go for it. That's where do you get where's your confidence come from?
I don't have it every day. I sometimes lose it, but then I just push myself forward because, life is too short. And yeah, sometimes I'm lazy too. I procrastinate, but I'm always motivated to do more from life and for life, and, obtain more, just grow more. And yeah, so the confidence, like I said, I think it takes a little bit of practice.
It does.
I'm shy too when I go into, like, just in Santa Monica Tech Startup Weekend. I was shy to present my idea because I wasn't sure that my idea was good enough. But then I was like, yeah, my idea is good enough. I feel like we're all confident, we're all creative if given the right opportunity and circumstances. So that's what I want to really encourage everyone around me, on my team, anyone that I collaborate with, is to just be confident. You're enough. You're good enough. So
You are amazing. Period.
yes, you're amazing. Period. Exactly.
But yeah, I definitely agree. I come from a business background, and yeah, all the things that you did have kind of led you to this. And I think that's so beautiful, because listeners, like, for all of you guys out there, it's so important to know that you might not be doing exactly what you want to do right this moment, but that what you're doing right now could potentially propel you into what you're meant to be doing. And I think that's really interesting in your story, that you went and you did all these other things and you weren't necessarily fulfilled by any of them in general, but it led you to have the knowledge and ability and confidence, really, to start something yourself, and to know, like, okay, well, if I'm going to do a subscription box, I have to go and I have to look up how to get the supplies for that, and, like, who are my, the fact that you have people in the world who are willing to help you as well, like your sister and your friend in India, who were able to go out there and immediately give back. I think that helped support your vision too, and I think that's so beautiful that even your family was able to help.
If you have a great cause, I feel like everybody wants to be a part of that, to help out, for sure.
Totally agree.
So is the best place to find the subscription PMS box online, Instagram?
website, right?
Where's your best place to be found, and get more information?
So our website is pmsbox.co. It's not com, it's pmsbox.co. Com was taken and we never got a hold of who owns it. So long story short, we're very active on Instagram. We have a blog. We release content every week. But if you want to learn more about PMS Box, it's $39.99 plus free shipment, because we don't want anyone to pay extra for the shipment itself. The retail value of the box is $90. What that means is all the products in the box, when you add all of them up, the market value of the box is $90 and up. It comes with 5 full-size products. If you want additional supplements such as Tylenol, Advil, painkillers, and pain relievers, with no additional cost, you can also add it to the box. We also have menstrual cups made with silicone, medical grade silicone and without silicone. For the menstrual cups, that would be an extra, $10 or something. But yeah, and so we have a PMSBOX original. We also started a new box a couple of weeks ago. It's called PMSBOX Trial. And the reason why we started that is subscription boxes can be very tricky in the sense that, especially if you are afraid of commitment, the fact that you would be committed to a box and you don't even know what it is might be a little intimidating. And we didn't want pricing to also hold a barrier. So we started PMSBOX Trial. Just like any other box we have, just like the original, you can cancel anytime. You can get your money back 100% guarantee. So far, no one asked their money back, which is great. So trial box is $13.33 plus free shipment, and it comes with your choice of menstrual supply, pad, tampon, or hybrid, which is a combination of tampons and pads, and then panty liners. You can pick whatever you like from that. And it also comes with one additional full-size item that we have. It can be a nutrition product, it can be a token item, or beauty supply or therapeutic. What I mean by token also is that's my favorite product in the box. It's a handmade item made in the countries that are struggling with period poverty. For our launch box, we had handmade silver rings from Bali. We also had handmade towels from Turkey. We have several handmade products in countries that are currently struggling with period poverty. As a reminder of, we also have necklaces from Dreamer Co. They're made in Africa. They're handmade paper beads, beautiful colors, love their mission. They're also, supporting local women. So every product that is in PMSBOX is also giving back, or they're supporting a cause. One of them are, saving the bees with their products. They donate a percentage of that. So we're actually helping women gain exposure through PMSBOX as well by connecting them to influencers or giving them access to photography, professional videography, unboxing videos. Since my other, skill set is marketing and advertisement, I bring that into the game. And yeah.
That's great that you never know who is getting these boxes. And those little silver rings from Bali, someone could see them, love them, want to mass produce them, and make a partnership with these people in Bali, and you're just bringing them up. Like, the water is all rising together because you're reaching out in several different areas.
Well, and even like anybody whose stuff is in the box too, they're getting all this exposure because
That's what I was saying,
all of your subscription people are receiving it every day. And yeah, maybe that solve really helped their headache during their period.
And now they buy it all the time.
Exactly. Just to clarify one small thing, for the token items, we're not actually internationally traveling and purchasing from countries abroad. We do have brands that already did that for us. So we directly purchase, their handmade jewelry that they got from Bali, that they work with local, artists there. So yeah.
It also really brings you together in that wholeness of we're all the same, because you are getting products from all around the world. It's not just like, this is a U.S. company. This is a global company.
Yeah.
It is definitely a global company. However, we're not shipping internationally, even though we had, several requests for that. We even had some people purchase in the States while they were traveling. They got the box in their hotel room. Just because they were so curious about the box.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're not doing international shipment. And yes, we are definitely a global company. That's the mindset, because we're global citizens. That's how we like to call ourselves. Yeah, we're not doing international shipment because there might be a lot of issues with, shipping abroad, and people would have to wait at the customs, and it's stuff that is out of our control. So I don't want to make life more complicated at the moment. But in the future, if we have other offices internationally, we do know a lot of people abroad in different countries. Damla, our COO, is well connected in Germany. My family is in Turkey. And we would love to collaborate with some of the countries that, we have a lot of connections in. But that's the future plan, not at the moment.
You're not even a year old yet.
I know, I know. But this is so awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just so excited. She brought us a little bit of swag, so
we're gonna open those on our Instagram
we're
story.
gonna open those on the story later. And we just thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
This is incredible. Everybody, please check out PMSBOX.co, and remember that you are amazing.
Period.